Welcome to the Dermatology Studio with Dr. Yusra Ayaz.
Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving deep into a condition called Lichen Planus. And let me tell you, it's a real beast, because it can show up in so many different ways, which makes managing it, well, not so straightforward. We're going to walk through the entire playbook, from diagnosis all the way to treatment. Let's get into it.
So let's start with a bit of a puzzle. What do you think connects permanent hair loss, some really nasty nail damage, and painful sores inside your mouth? I mean, they seem like completely separate issues, right? But believe it or not, they can all be caused by one single condition, Lichen Planus, or LP for short.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll explore just how wide the reach of LP is and all the complications that come with it. Then, we'll look at how a diagnosis is actually confirmed. After that, we'll get into the core strategies for management. And finally, we'll see how advanced treatments are tailored for those really specific, severe forms of the disease.
First up, let's talk about the wide reach of LP. It's so important to understand that this is way more than just a simple skin rash. Its effects can literally ripple out across the entire body, and they can cause some really significant and sometimes permanent complications.
So when LP decides to target the scalp, the results can be just brutal. It can cause a type of permanent scarring hair loss called cicatricial alopecia, and that basically means the inflammation damages the hair follicles so badly they just can't grow hair anymore. This can show up in different ways, like frontal fibrosing alopecia, where the hairline actually recedes, or pseudopelade, which creates these smooth bald patches. And if that wasn't enough, you can also get these tiny cysts and blackheads popping up in the inflamed areas.
But LP doesn't just stop at the hair. It often goes after the nails, too. This happens in about 10% of people who have it. And it can look like simple ridges. That's called onychorexis, but it can also get much more severe. Sometimes scar tissue actually forms a V shape that pulls the nail fold forward. That's a condition called pterygium. And in the most extreme cases, the inflammation can completely destroy the nail, leading to anonychia, which is the permanent loss of the nail itself.
The inflammation can also hit mucous membranes, the moist linings inside our bodies. In the mouth, this can cause incredibly painful sores. Now, while it's not common, thank goodness, there is a serious risk that these oral lesions can, over time, develop into a type of skin cancer. And it's not just the mouth. LP can even cause scarring in the eye that can block tear ducts.
What's so fascinating, and also what makes LP so complex, is that it almost never exists in a vacuum. It's often found hanging out with a whole host of other conditions. We see links to other autoimmune diseases where the body attacks itself, like ulcerative colitis, vitiligo, and lupus. It's also been connected to things like hepatitis B and C infections, and even thyroid problems or diabetes. This huge range of associations really just drives home the point that LP is a systemic inflammatory disease, not just some skin problem.
So, what does the life cycle of a typical LP skin lesion even look like? Well, it's not something that just pops up overnight. It starts really slowly, with these little bumps. Over several months, these bumps flatten out, but they often leave a mark, a patch of skin that can change color from pink to a dark purplish black. In some cases, the lesions get thicker and rougher. We call that hypertrophic LP, and even when they finally go away, they can leave scars behind.
Okay, so with all these different ways LP can show up, how in the world do doctors actually confirm a diagnosis? Let's move into our next section and take a look at the key investigative findings. A lot of times, the very first clue comes from a tool called the Dermoscope, which is basically a superpowered magnifying glass for the skin. When a doctor looks at an LP lesion up close, they can often spot this telltale sign called Wickham's striae. It looks like a fine, lacy network of white lines right on the surface of the lesion. Seeing that pattern is a huge clue that you're probably dealing with Lichen Planus.
But to be absolutely sure, you really need a biopsy. A tiny piece of skin is looked at under a microscope, and pathologists are hunting for a specific set of clues, which you can see right here. The most classic sign is what happens at the junction between the top two layers of skin. Normally it's kind of wavy, but in LP, it gets flattened into this jagged, sawtooth pattern. They also look for a dense wall of inflammatory cells pressed right up against the top layer of skin and something called colloid bodies, which are basically little pink blobs of dead skin cells. These unique features under the microscope are what really seal the deal on the diagnosis.
Now, in some really tricky cases, an even more specialized test called direct immunofluorescence can come into play. This test uses fluorescent dyes to light up specific proteins in the skin sample.
In LP, it reveals these clumps of antibodies, proteins from our immune system like IgG and IgM, and a clotting protein called fibrin, all piled up right at that boundary between the skin layers. This specific pattern is so important because it looks totally different from what you'd see in other conditions that can look just like LP, such as lupus.
Okay, so now we know what LP is and how it's diagnosed, let's turn to the heart of our explainer today, management. We'll kick things off with the strategies for the most common forms, the ones affecting the skin and the mouth.
So when we talk about management, what are we actually trying to do? Well, it's not just about making the rash go away. The primary goals are to relieve that often intense itching, help the lesions heal faster, and, this is critical, prevent permanent complications like scarring. For LP in the mouth, the focus is on healing those painful sores, and some basic lifestyle advice like avoiding trigger foods and keeping up with good oral hygiene is really a fundamental part of the whole plan.
For LP on the skin, doctors use what's called a ladder approach, starting with the safest options first. The first rung of that ladder is almost always a powerful steroid cream that you apply right on the skin. If the LP is really widespread, they might use oral steroids to calm everything down from the inside out. If that doesn't work, you climb to the second rung, options like acitretin, which is related to vitamin A, or specialized light therapy. It's only for the most stubborn cases that you move to that third line, which involves stronger systemic drugs like methotrexate to really suppress the immune system.
The treatment ladder for oral LP looks pretty similar, but it's often climbed a lot faster. That's because the lesions can be so painful and really get in the way of eating. It also starts with topical steroids, but usually in gels or mouthwashes. If that's not cutting it, doctors will move to oral steroids. And for the most severe cases, that third line involves some powerful immunosuppressants. These are drugs designed to dial back that overactive immune response that's causing all the inflammation in the first place.
All right, now we're moving into the really challenging territory, the specialized and severe forms of Lichen Planus. For these, the treatment has to be highly tailored to the specific location and the specific type of the disease.
In sensitive areas, powerful steroid creams are still the go-to treatment, sometimes with other tools to prevent scarring. When it comes to the nails, the strategy really depends on the scale. If only 1 or 2 nails are affected, a topical cream might be all you need. But if a bunch of nails are involved, doctors have to get more aggressive, either by injecting steroids right into the nail folds or by using oral steroids that work throughout the whole body.
Now, for scalp LP, the stakes are incredibly high because the #1 goal is to prevent permanent hair loss. For the general form LPP, treatment is aggressive with steroids, topical, injected, or oral. But for frontal fibrosing alopecia, which is a very specific pattern of hair loss, the toolbox gets even bigger. Doctors might use anti-inflammatory drugs like hydroxychloroquine, or even medications called 5-alpha reductase inhibitors, which block how certain hormones affect the hair follicle.
The erosive and blistering forms, these are particularly painful and destructive. Severe erosive LP demands immediate action, starting with systemic steroids and often needing long-term immunosuppressants. In the same way, the bullous or blistering types are managed with powerful systemic medications to just stop that inflammatory process in its tracks. Finally, there are a few rare variants that have their own unique playbooks. Lichen nitidus, for instance, is often so mild it doesn't even need any treatment. Then at the other end of the spectrum, you have Neckham disease, which is notoriously tough to treat and often requires photochemotherapy. That's a combo of a light-sensitizing drug and UV light therapy. And then there's actinic LP, which is triggered by sunlight and is managed with strong systemic drugs that suppress the immune system.
So to pull this all together, here's a quick summary table. You can clearly see the pattern, right? Corticosteroids are the universal first-line treatment, whether they're topical, injected, or oral. But as we move to the more severe or specialized forms, the therapies escalate to include things like phototherapy, retinoids, and a wide range of powerful systemic immunosuppressants.
And that really brings us to our final thought. We've seen that Lichen Planus isn't just one disease, but many, with a complex and varied treatment ladder. So the huge question for the future is this: how can research help us move beyond these general ladders to truly personalized therapies? Therapies that target the specific drivers in each patient, giving us faster, more effective, and much safer outcomes.
Thanks for watching. Hit like, share, and subscribe to the Dermatology Studio. Ask your skin queries in the comments below.